Tommy Robinson, welcome to the show.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Bloody hell. Why is Tommy Robinson on the run?
Why not? It's nice weather here.
Yeah. Where are we?
We are, no, I don't want to say where we are, but we, am I on the run? I face prison when I return to the UK. In fact, I'll be honest, I don't know what I face when I return to the UK. What we've seen, the tyrannical measures of the government have weaponised the judiciary and the media in the last 4 weeks after the riots, as they described them across the country, putting people in jail for memes, putting people in jail for saying, Allah, who the fuck is Allah? One lad got 18 months. Putting a lad in jail for saying, whose streets are streets? He got 2 years, 8 months for saying that. Whose streets are streets? We've seen a total attack on the British public. That's what, there has been trouble. There has been some people who are justifiably been put in jail, but there's also been an attack on freedom of speech. There's been an attempt by the government to intimidate the country into silence over their failures.
It's interesting about the freedom of speech, because I don't know where I stand, because some of them, I thought that, and they've looked up and they've actually been saying, let's go burn the mosque. Where do you stand on that? Should we be able to say that?
No, you shouldn't be able to say it, no. Any incitement to violence, we have strict laws. Incitement to hatred, incitement to violence. We don't need any more censorship. We already have laws in place that have been in place for a decade to prevent incitement to violence or incitement to racism, any of these things. If you're inciting violence and you're being a racist, yes, you deserve to be punished by the law, okay? But many of the cases we've looked at haven't. For example, one lad who got sent to prison for sharing memes, one of the memes he shared was men getting off a boat and running onto a beach, obviously Islamic men coming into this country, and he said, what about when it lands on your doorstep? The other meme he shared was jihadists on Westminster Bridge with knives. Well, we've seen jihadists on Westminster Bridge with knives. Yeah?
Ricky Gervais has made that sort of joke as well on stage. He said a lot of lads coming in, aren't they? A lot of the lads, these refugees and migrants, all the lads coming over. Isn't that nice? And he's made that same joke. Imagine Gervais being arrested.
Well, they won't go for the high profile ones. Like they won't go for, who's the Lord of the Rings lady?
Who's the Lord of the Rings lady?
No, not Lord,
Harry Potter?
Harry Potter lady, sorry.
Who's that?
Yeah,
J.K. Rowling. I was thinking of a character.
So J.K. Rowling's come out and already breached the laws that they brought in place, but these laws are to intimidate the wider public, and they'll use them when they want to use them, against who they want to use them against. And what we've seen in the recent trials was that most of the people pled guilty to crimes they hadn't committed because they were intimidated. I'm making a documentary now. We've interviewed families, we've interviewed the mothers, the wives of these men. One gentleman who said, whose streets are streets, whilst waving his England flag. When they sat him down in an interview, they showed him a picture of his wife at their demonstration and said, either you hold your hands up, basically, or we're going to nick her. He's got a newborn baby. We'll go and arrest her. Yeah. So he held his hands up. They give him 2 years, 8 months.
What is behind this? Why are they going around? Why do they want to curb free speech so much?
Because if we're allowed free speech and we're allowed non-censorship on platforms like X, the public get to see the government's failures and policy failures. For example, there were troubles at the hotel in Tamworth. What they don't tell you is there's been repeated incidents of children being approached by the migrants in the hotel in Tamworth. A migrant left the hotel in Tamworth and raped an English woman. They don't talk about that. Yeah. So they want you to believe that these people are out on the streets and they're angry because they're far right. Whereas in reality, I've researched and found 10 migrants who have been placed in hotels who have gone on to rape English women. Okay, so many circumstances. One, what they don't tell you, there was trouble in Hartlepool, and all the newspapers called them far right. The Keir Starmer calls them far right. A migrant who we paid for to come into this country, we housed him, we clothed him. He left the hotel in Hartlepool. He pulled out a knife and stabbed a British man to death walking down the street for Gaza. His words were, it was a terrorist attack. You probably didn't read about it because they suppress a lot of these things. Any crime. So incidents like this, and not just like this, why were the people in Bournemouth protesting? Well, maybe, Keir, because you allowed a migrant to go into school. He said he was 14. You put him in school at 14 years old. And there was questions about his age from the school as well, and from parents. He went on to sexually harass girls in the school. He went on to chase another pupil with a knife in the school. It turns out, because he then goes into the town centre a year or two later, and he stabs a Royal Marine to death. Now, when the Home Office do their investigation into this one migrant, we find out that he shot 2 people dead with an AK-47 on the way to Great Britain in Serbia. So he's a murderer and we find out he was 20 years old, not 14. So a murdering adult migrant criminal you put into school in Bournemouth. Yeah, you housed him in school. Again, we paid for him. We housed him. We clothed him. We fed him. He went on to murder a Royal Marine, a gentleman's only son. So that family are probably pretty angry, Keir, with the Home Office, as are the entire community and the town, Keir. And then how many rapes have we had by migrants on Bournemouth, in the beach, sexually assaulting girls in the sea? So people are angry not because Tommy Robinson. Yeah, they're angry. And again, if you've got your computer there, let's do it. Put in.
Don't have internet.
Okay, migrant rape Leeds. If you're watching this, I bet it'll bring up a woman who went jogging who was raped by a refugee. If you want to pick any city in this country, yeah, I'm going to show you. We're going to go through this on a new film. Pick any city. Put in refugee rape. It'll bring up a refugee that raped someone.